In this vlog, we began to work on the lower cabinets. All right, as you can see here, this is plywood. It's 3/4 inch birch. And I'm gonna start, or I already started, making the lower cabinets in the van. This is what it looks like so far. So the dimensions are 38 in height by 22 3/4 the width. And down here, I made a notch for the toe kick. This is 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Next thing I did, I measured from the back of the cabinet to the front, and that's 19 1/4. All right, as you can see this side, I have another piece of 3/4 plywood. This is where the bottom of the cabinet is gonna sit. The bottom of the plywood is gonna sit on top of this, and the same thing on the other ones. I just screwed them in. So down here in the toe kick, I want to eventually put a drawer just to save this space here underneath the cabinet. I went ahead and cut these pieces. So right now I'm working on the middle piece. As you can see, I stacked it right on top of the plywood. So I'm going to pre-drill it and screw them right in. And this is the middle of the cabinet, so I'm going to have 2 of these pieces on the middle one. Okay, as you can see here, I have the 3 walls up on the cabinet. Nothing's holding them in place. They're just standing up on their own. And what I like about this is that you get to see how it's going to look. I'm going to add the bottom pieces right here and right here, and then I'll start attaching these pieces across on the top. So now I placed the bottoms, and as you can see right here, I marked the center of the 3/4 down here that I'm gonna screw into all the way across, just because I always end up messing up. So it's just something to help me out. Same thing on this side. So the next thing I'm gonna do is screw these in. All right, so now that these are screwed in on the bottom, I made these, I think they're called stretchers, I'm not sure. These go across the cabinet. Some people put them in the front and in the back. I made the width of them at 3.5. So I have the cabinet on its face. This is the back of the cabinet. As you can see, these are the boards that I'm going to screw into the studs of the wall, and I'm going to use that for the top and right here for the bottom. I started laying out the face frame for the cabinet. This is just dry. I'm just dry fitting it for right now. Now that I laid these out for the face frame, it's time to drill the pocket holes. So obviously turn them around and make sure you get the good side for your face. This is the bad, ugly side with the sticker. Yeah, just label where your pocket holes are going. So I just go like this. I write PH here, PH. So pocket hole there, pocket holes here, and then pocket holes here, and a couple pocket holes here to get to the bottom. All right, now that I have the face frame in place, I patched them up, so it's now time to sand it down. And I'm also gonna do the inside walls. I'm gonna sand the whole thing down, and I'm also gonna sand this side because it's gonna be exposed. The left side is gonna be right next to a wall, so it's not gonna be shown, so I'm not gonna sand this at all. I'm using this brand right here, and it's water-based. So first I'm gonna give it the first coat and then I'm gonna let it dry. Then I have to sand it all over again, and then a second coat, and then let it dry again, and then sand it again. So I've been shopping for a countertop for our van. I need a 50 by 25 piece, 25 inches wide and 50 inches long, like 1.5 or 2 inches in thickness. So I stopped in Home Depot to check what they have, and look what they have here. We've always wanted a live edge piece, a slab, you know, something that looks natural. But I think right now we're in a time crunch, and it's just too much to be looking for and to be working on. So we're gonna settle for the butcher block, and we're gonna stain it. All right, as you can see, it doesn't fit. You see the gap back here? So this is in the way, this plastic, so I'm gonna have to cut it down. I don't wanna lose that much, so I'm only gonna cut 3/4 of an inch. It overhangs by like 2 inches, I think. All right, I ended up cutting it 1/2 inch, and it fits perfect. Now I have to cut out the slot for the sink. As you can see right here, we have a farmhouse sink. It is copper. We just got it in yesterday, and we're super excited. We've always wanted a copper sink. It's pretty deep, actually. It's deeper than what I imagined. Yeah, it's about 9 inches deep, and the inside is 21.5. The outer portion is 25 inches. It's 22 inches from back to front. And it has this face right here that we like a lot. So this is gonna be exposed. This face is gonna be exposed in the cabinet. And this is the bottom of the sink. So I took my measurements and I traced it out here on the butcher block. I'm a little nervous to cut it, but I've like triple checked my measurements, so I should be fine. I wanna cut this as straight as possible with this AccuCut, because I do wanna save this for either extra counter space or a cutting board. All right, as you can see here, I am dry fitting the sink, and there's a big gap there in the middle. It's bat in the middle. It's like 1/4 of an inch. I wasn't able to finish the face frame of this cabinet. Now that the sink is here, I was able to finish it. So you can see I put this piece across and put this piece down in the middle. So there's gonna be 2 doors here, and then right here we'll have our fridge.
All right, so Efren is cleaning or wiping off the surface of the butcher block that we have. We got this at Home Depot. If you haven't mentioned that already. This is the bottom portion of the butcher block. The other side was already done. 2 coats you did, right? Mm-hmm. 2 coats of, what is that thing called?
Stain. Wood stain.
Wood stain.
We went with the special walnut. We thought dark walnut was gonna be a little too dark, so we wanted something a few shades lighter.
Right.
So we went with the special walnut.
Yeah, and it looks like literally exactly how I wanted it to look. I mean, but I. So yeah, so this is the other side. We're gonna do 2 coats, let it dry, 2 hours in between, right? Each coat.
Yes. So now I cut up an old shirt, and this is what I'm gonna use to stain it. So I am not a professional stainer, so this is what I do. This is my first time staining, but I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, so this is what a lot of people do.
Well, the other side came out good, so, well, okay. That was short-lived.
This right here is left over, and we want to use it as a cutting board. So I'm gonna do the same process as I'm doing with the butcher block.
Ephraim forgot to shake the stain.
Yeah.
And so it came out a lighter tone than the other side, and we were kind of wondering why. And then I figured that it wasn't that we had to shake it up again, which he refused to believe was the reason. But then we did shake it up for the other part, and it came out darker. So he's doing it over again. And then after this, we'll do a second coat again. So make sure to shake, 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 people. And now it's time to seal it with this protective finish. It's made by Midwax. It is water-based and is polyacrylic. According to our government and Google.com, this is food safe. We're going with this clear matte finish. Number 5 on the directions, it does say to use a synthetic bristle brush. I did buy one, and then after every coat, you have to let it dry for 2 hours, and then use a 220 grit sandpaper to smooth it out. After the final coat, allow 3 hours before light handling and 24 hours before normal use. So just make sure to read the directions. This is the synthetic bristle brush that I bought at Sherwin-Williams. All right, now it's time to sand. I did buy 320 grit sandpaper. So I did start sanding it right here. You can see the difference from here to here. Maybe, let me see. Yeah. From the videos that I've watched, they lightly go over the top, just barely. So that's what you want to do, is just barely sand it. Yeah, you want to sand the whole thing and then add another layer of the polyacrylic. So this is the third coat on the butcher block, and I'm gonna sand it now, and after this it should be finished. So I made the 2 doors here for the cabinet, and they look pretty good so far. Cracked right there, but that's okay. So underneath this here, this toe kick, I want to put a drawer. All right, so this empty space down here is about 20 inches long. I took away 1/4 of an inch, so I made it 19 3/4. And the width of it is 20 1/2. I took away 1/4 to make it 20 1/4 for the drawer. All right, so this is what I have so far. I have the base of the drawer. I screwed this in the side, and I have this other side here. So it's a pretty simple build, and then this piece goes in the back, and then this is the face. This is the bottom of the drawer. I'm screwing the 1/2 inch into the 3/4 inch plywood. So I have the cabinet on its back side, and the reason why I did that is because I'm installing the drawer, where I already installed the drawer in the bottom where the toe kick on the right hand side. And this is what it looks like so far. I held it with clamps, so I raised it up, I installed this bracket, and then I connected this bracket and this bracket together. So then I raised up the drawer all the way, maxed out, and then this is what I was left with down here. So you have 1, 2, and 3 screws. Same thing on this side, 1, 2, 3. So I was able to drill these into place, and then I was able to drop it. And the drawer is finished. Pretty big drawer. We'll be able to fit things in here. I still have some sanding to do, and I have to fill in these holes. Yeah, sand it and then paint the face.